If your students struggle with miscommunication, have trouble explaining their thinking, or have difficulty listening without interrupting, barrier games might be your new best friends. They're low prep, easy to differentiate, and a really fun communication activity that feels like a game. A barrier game is a communication exercise in which one or more students is communicating something to one or more other students, but they're not able to look at each other. So there's a barrier or something in between. Here's 3 different ways that I play in my social skills group. The first type is called Draw What You Hear. You start by pairing up your students, giving them each something to write on, something to write with. It doesn't matter what it is as long as it's the same between the two. Then you need to have a barrier in between the 2 kids, or you can go back to back. The speaker then has to draw something on their board. I like to start them with doing something simple. I guide them first by directing them to put 4 shapes on the board. Any shapes, any size that they want, whatever they feel good doing at that moment. This is an example. It could look any way they want. Now, the listener doesn't know what this looks like. The speaker then has to tell the listener how to draw this. So they might say, draw a square. The listener may have no idea where to put that square. So the listener may put the square in the middle of their board or on the other side, okay? So that's the kind of thing that's gonna come up. And at the end, you wanna see how closely aligned the 2 drawings are. Now, you could differentiate this in the sense of allowing the listener to ask clarifying questions. So if the speaker says, draw a square on the board, maybe you want to start by having the listener say where or how big. Or maybe you don't want to have the listener ask those questions so they can really see what it looks like at the end, and then they self-reflect on, why is this so different? Oh, well, you didn't tell me how big to make it. Oh, you didn't tell me where on the board to draw it. And then you're going to switch roles. As they practice this, they can make the drawing more advanced. Maybe you want to put in additional colors, and they can kind of be a little bit self-directed with this and see how their skills improve with more practice. The next one is called Build It the Same. And this time it's the same principle, but you're using building materials. You can use Legos like these. You could use Duplos, or you can use other building materials like I have over here. The premise is the same, except they are making some sort of structure. Again, I start small. I usually give them no more than 6 pieces. And I usually use like the squares, not the ones that are so complicated. So they build something, and then they have to explain how to build this. The last one is called Map It Out. This is when each pair has a scene and they have little characters or objects that the speaker is going to start by putting somewhere. So they could put the boy on the slide and the girl in the grass and the bird in the sky over here. However they want to do it. Again, start with limited amount of things. Then they're going to communicate to their partner on the other side of the barrier where to put things. So you're going to run across the same things. Put the bird in the sky. Well, on the left, on the right, up high, down low. Put the girl in the grass. There's grass everywhere. Where do I put her? It's a really good way for the kids to understand how important communication is and how it helps you when you take your time to understand and listen, ask clarifying questions. Also, at the same time, it helps the speaker understand that maybe I should be a little bit more precise in my language, or I can clarify myself if this person is not understanding me at first. Maybe the reason why they made a mistake is because I didn't communicate as well as I could have. And hey, it's okay for us to try it again. Finally, another way you can do these games is by making them a little bit more collaborative, in the sense of, instead of just having pairs, what you can do is you can have 2 or 3 people on one side of the barrier, or 2 or 3 people on the other side of the barrier. So 2 or 3 people are building this structure. They're agreeing on what colors they want to use first or how they're going to make it. And then they are going to take turns saying how to build it. and they're going to communicate that to the group on the other side of the barrier. Same thing on the other side of the barrier, the listening group has to decide, okay, who's going to go first? And if somebody says one thing and somebody, no, I think they said this, they're going to have to collaborate amongst themselves. It's another level of difficulty. It's another layer of collaboration. And again, it really hones in on those communication skills and those cooperation skills. It's really important to tell your students that even though the goal obviously is to get the pictures to match as closely as possible, let them know that it's very difficult. Let them know that we shouldn't expect perfection right away. You don't want them getting so frustrated that they give up. That's why I say start easy and then gradually move up. Also, you want to debrief with them afterwards. So make sure there's like a no judgment vibe going on, so they're honest and they don't feel like they have to blame the other partner. Well, I said this and you didn't do it. Even though that may be the case, this is a good time for them to analyze and self-reflect. Well, I think I said this, and then their partner can say, what they thought from their perspective. It's really important that this is a non-competitive thing and it's a collaborative exercise, because communication goes two ways. That's the ultimate point of this lesson, is that communication is between the speaker and the listener, not just one-sided. So debrief with them, hear what they have to say. Was it difficult? Was it easy? What parts were difficult? What parts were easy? How do you think you could do it better the next time? Those are all just questions, not responses of something that's correct or incorrect. That's how you want to treat this activity. I recommend you try one of these barrier games with your students and see how they react. I think you'll learn a lot about your students and they'll learn about each other. And if you are interested in more games and activities that bring about this type of fun communication, stick around this channel, because it's all about games, activities, and strategies to help kids connect and form healthy, positive peer relationships with each other.